We'll start with the invocation mantras followed by invocation to Maharishi Patanjali. So close your eyes, adopt Chin Mudra. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Ganana Ganapati Gum Havamahe Kavim Kavinamupamashravastamam ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनशृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् महागणपतये नमः। प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामवित्र्यवतु आनो दिवो बृहतः पर्वतादा सरस्वती यजता गन्तु यज्ञम् हवन् देवी जुजुषाणा घृताचीषग्मान्नो वाचमुशती शृणोतु वाग्देव्यै नमः। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। Gently brush your palms. Place them on your eyes. Give gentle massage all over your face. And with few blinks, slowly open your eyes. So let's start with the invocation to Maharishi Patanjali. Yogena chittasya padena vacham malam sharirasya cha vaidyakena yopakarottam pravaram muninam Patanjalim pranjaliranatosmi. Now we are continuing with the Vibhuti Pada. We finished up to first 24 verses, 25 verses. So as a sadhaka or a yogi starts doing his practice of Sanyama, that is Dharana, Dhyan and Samadhi, on different objects or on different parts of the body, what siddhis, what vibhutis he starts achieving, that we are exploring through these sutras. Mainly these vibhutis or siddhis are categorized under three types, and they are jnana siddhis, kriya siddhis and kaivalya siddhis. Okay, so by practicing Sanyama, either you gain the powers by doing certain actions or by gaining certain knowledge, or to go closer to the ultimate reality, that is the Kaivalya. So let's continue the exploration of these siddhis further. Pravrittya lokanyasat sukshma प्रवृत्त्या लोकन्यासात् सूक्ष्म व्यवहित विप्रकृष्ट ज्ञानम् प्रवृत्त्या लोकन्यासात् सूक्ष्म व्यवहित विप्रकृष्ट Jnanam. So let's first understand the meaning of each words. Pravritti. So here it is the pravritti of super sense faculty. Aloka nyasa. Inner light or perception. Aloka here means not any lokas like bhu, bhuva, swaha, but the perception. Nyasat, where you are channelizing the light towards in a particular direction. Channelization is nyasat. Sukshma is subtle, not perceptible to naked eyes, and vyavahita is hidden or concealed. Hmm? Viprakrishta is remote or distant. Jnanam, you get the knowledge of what? So by Sanyama, on the light within. So here Aloka is the light. When you Nyasat means when you channelize your practice of a Sanyama on the inner light or the light within, what kind of Vibhuti one achieves? The knowledge of the Sukshma, that is the subtle, Sukshma, and Vyavahita, that is the hidden or concealed. And Viprakrishta is the remote, distant objects, people, happenings is obtained. All right. So this is the next Vibhuti. We can say it is the Jnana Siddhi. So subtle as atoms or hidden as treasure and remote as distant lands means one which cannot be perceived through your eyes, not naked eyes, but such minute things or distant things or hidden things can be perceived as you do Sanyama on the light within. See, these are the powers or siddhis one achieves when one makes their awareness or consciousness very, very sukshma or very, very focused on particular things or particular areas. So there is the vast possibility, you know, but because of our mind, we cannot focus. It is always distracted or it keeps on jumping from one object to other. If I am like reading something, but then some other thought will come and then my mind is diverted somewhere else. Then while doing that, again, some third thought will come in, then I will check my mobile. So this keeps on happening all the time. But there is, the vast potential because everything lies within the power of the mind. If we can focus and concentrate and do this Sanyama, there is a tremendous potential we can explore. And these are not miracles. This is just the effect or the result of focusing of our mental energies. But we are not able to do this because of the mental agitations. Okay, so that because all these things we need to overcome by practicing yoga. Then the next sutra talks about the next siddhi, that is Bhuvana Jnanam Surye Sanyamat. Bhuvana Jnanam Surye Sanyamat. Bhuvana is the universe or world. Jnanam, again you are getting the Jnana Siddhi here. Surya on the sun and Sanyamat from Sanyama. So by doing Sanyama on the sun, knowledge of the entire solar system is obtained. our Jyotisha or the astrology is based on the positions of the grahas and the planets. So when one do the Sanyama or his contemplation, meditation on the sun, he gains the knowledge of the entire solar system. This is the Siddhi, what Patanjali is mentioning. So that he can do the predictions about a person's life, his lifespan, his abilities. So this is the Siddhi. The next one is Chandre Tara Vyuha Jnanam. Chandre Tara Vyuha Jnanam. Chandre. So if you do the Sanyama upon moon, Tara, that is the star, Vyuha is the arrangement. So by Sanyama on the moon comes the knowledge of the stars or constellations arrangement. Again, how and why? It's related to astronomy and its predictions. So by doing the Sanyama on the sun and the moon, one can do the predictions. Even about the seasons, about the future. So this is what the Sanyama on the sun and the moon. Dhruve tadgati jnanam. Dhruve tadgati jnanam. So Dhruva is what? The pole star, which is static, witnessing to all other moving stars. Tad, of them, gati, the movement, procession, jnanam. So whatever these sutras are talking about the siddhis, they are about the jnana siddhis. By Sanyama on the pole star comes the knowledge of the star's movement. As this star is where static, it is not moving. Adhala sthana, which is we call it as adhala, means that it's not going to move whatever it comes. So that's how the yogi makes his mind adhala or fixed on the pole star, which is static, so that all the moving entities can be understood. Then Nabhi Chakre Kaya Vyuha Jnanam. Nabhi Chakre Kaya Vyuha Jnanam. Nabhi is the navel. Chakra is on that particular center or plexus. Kaya, that is the body. Vyuha, here, Vyuha is to be understood as the arrangement, the distribution. So how the body's arrangement, its constitution, its distribution is being done can be understood. How? By doing Sanyama on Nabhi Chakra. That is the Manipura Chakra. By Sanyama on the navel plexus, knowledge of the body's constitution is obtained. How the body is made up of, which organs are there, what is their functioning, everything. Even the fetus, where it grows, in the womb. Where is the position? At the Nabhi. So all limbs sprout from that single zygote, and then how the fetus, develops from that. All nadis from this point also carry prana to the whole body. So from bindu, from that point, from macro to microcosm, whatever is manifested can be understood by doing Sanyama on Nabhi Chakra. So the entire universe can be understood, entire bodies, Kaya's constitution can be understood from microcosm to macrocosm. Everything can be, then that knowledge can be gained by doing Sanyama on Nabhi Chakra. So this is again the Jnana Siddhi. Kanthakoope Kshutpipasa Nivrittihi. Kanthakoope Kshutpipasa Nivrittihi. Now, Kantha Kupe. Kupe means the pit and Kantha is the throat. So this notch, this is called as Kantha Kupe. Kshut and Pipasa. So hunger and thirst. Nivrittihi is cessation. You overcome the feelings, the symptoms of hunger and thirst by doing Sanyama on Kantha Kupe, on the pit of the throat. So by Sanyama on the pit of the throat, cessation means you will not feel hungry, you will not feel thirsty. That kind of state is achieved. Our maximum time of the life goes in satisfying this, correct? You have to buy food, buy the groceries, cook the food. You have to plan the week's, food, what you're going to eat every day, your diet plan, everything needs to be done. And lot of time, lot of energy is utilized into these activities. Now, for a yogi, all these things, he doesn't want to spend much time on very basic needs of the body. So long time needs to be spent in meditation for spiritual realization. So the yogis which are advanced in their practices, they try to eat very less. Our diet plans or our type of lifestyle is not applicable to these advanced yogis because they have conquered, they have mastered all the basic necessities of the body by their meditation, by their yogic practices. These powers can be gained. So here Patanjali is mentioning, if you do this, you will achieve this. So there is the solution he is giving. What we need is the Nirantara Abhyasa, the practice. So, Kanthakupe Kshutpipasa Nivrittihi, that kind of Vibhuti a yogi can achieve. Then, Kurmanadya, Kurmanadyam Sthairyam, Kurmanadyam Sthairyam. In our Pranamaya Kosha, it is mentioned that there are around 72,000 nadis. That kind of a network is spread out. Out of this, there is one Kurma nadi. Again, that is at the pit of the throat. And it is in a shape of a tortoise, and also it is very stable. How, when we think of a tortoise, he is not moving constantly, correct? He is very stable. He is very static. Once he adopts the posture, he stays into that posture for long period of time. So on such nadi, if you do the Sanyama, nadyam, that is that subtle channel or tube which passes through the pit of the throat, sthairya, stability, motionlessness in body as well as in chitta. So how a tortoise or a turtle is or can remain motionless for maximum period of time, that kind of stability can be achieved at physical and mental level, at emotional level by doing Sanyama on Kurmanadi. So by Sanyama on the Kurmanadi, a subtle tortoise-shaped tube located below the throat, motionlessness in meditative posture is achieved, and that is very much needed. It is called asana jaya. If you can adopt a posture and maintain it up to 3 hours, and you are absolutely motionless, you're not even moving your finger, you are into that static, still posture. If you can sit like that, it also reflects the stability of the chitta. There are not chitta vikshepas, there are not chitta vrittis. You have conquered all the chitta vrittis, and that's why you can achieve this motionlessness or stability into your body and mind. Then, Murdha Jyotishi, Murdha Jyotishi, Siddha Darshanam. Siddha Darshanam. Murdha is the crown of head. Jyotishi here means on the light. Siddha, masters or great saints or sages, rishis. Darshanam. You get the visions of great masters by doing sanyama on the light of the crown of the head. Uh, in all these kinds of practices, of course, your own discipline and efforts matter a lot. How much efforts you are putting from your side. But along with that, if your efforts are accompanied with Guru Krupa, if you have undergone the process of Guru Diksha, then the Guru's power will help you in your efforts, and the progress will be much more faster. And with the Guru Krupa and your regular sadhana, if that combines together and you do your sadhana for a long period of time, this is definitely achievable. Okay, so this Murda Jyotishi Siddha Darshanam, you get the visions of different devatas or saints, uh, and that is, I think, the most beautiful experience. So by Sayama on the light at the crown of the head, Sahasrara Chakra, the visions of the masters and adepts are obtained. Pratibhadva, Pratibhadva, Sarvam, Pratibhadva, Sarvam. Now, what is pratibhad? Va is or. So, pratibhad. Spontaneous, intuitive, light flash, which we call it as sakshatkar, or the luster, illumination, pure presence of mind just before Viveka Khyati state. Means Viveka Khyati comes at a much higher stages. To distinguish between what is Sat and what is Asat, or what is permanent and what is impermanent, what is eternal and what is going to change, what is constant and what is not constant. This kind of uh, state at your mental and intellectual level, which is called as the Viveka Khyati. If your practice of Sanyama is going for a long period of time, it is by default that we are going to achieve the state of Viveka Khyati. But before that, before we reach the state of Viveka Khyati, this is the stage or that can be the indication if you are getting that flash of light or that flash of knowledge, and that is the indication that you are on a right track, right direction towards achieving Viveka Khyati. So, what is the indication? Or in the knowledge that dawns by spontaneous enlightenment. So, this knowledge is not coming from any external source by reading books, by listening to the lectures. No. This spontaneous enlightenment or knowledge or that wisdom or that jnana is sprouting from within through a life of purity, through a life of discipline, through the life of sadhana. All the powers come by themselves. So we hear this sutra is not talking about any one siddhi, but whatever siddhis and powers you can think of, they all will come to that sadhaka, and this is closer to the Kaivalya Siddhi because then he can do anything he wishes. That sarvam, all the siddhis come to such a yogi who is leading the life of discipline, of purity at all, mental level, speaking level, action level, eating level, sleeping level, at all. How his lifestyle is. And if he is very, very particular and regular in his sadhana, this is bound to happen. And along with the Guru Krupa, with the power of your Guru's guidance, what's going to happen? That pratibhadva, that spontaneous knowledge will keep coming to the yogi. And that is the indication before he reaches the state of Viveka Khyati. Hridaye, hridaye, chitta samvita, chitta samvita, hridaye. So, by doing sayama on the heart, chitta, we know. What is chitta? Is the mind stuff. Samvita, knowledge or understanding. So, by doing sayama on the heart, or we can say the heart center or anahata chakra, the knowledge of the mind stuff, whatever you can think about the mind, the vasanas or the deep impressions or the thoughts or the feelings or the desires, whatever it is about the mind stuff, your memories, isn't it? So, antakarana chatushtaya. Your antakarana is made of four parts. Manas, buddhi, chitta, ahankar. So everything constitute this mind stuff. You get the knowledge of that mind stuff. Chitta samvita. Samvita, who is a samvita? Means the knowledgeable person. He gained that knowledge and complete understanding about his own mind stuff. Hridaye, about his uh, deep impressions, what we call is that samskaras, vasanas, ichhas. He become aware of these. Now, sattva purushayor, sattva purushayor, atyanta sankirnayoho, अत्यन्ता संकीर्णयोः प्रत्ययाविशेषो प्रत्ययाविशेषो Bhogaha, Bhogaha, Pararthatvat, Pararthatvat, Swarthasanyamat, Swarthasanyamat, Purushajnanam, Purushajnanam. So, Sattva. Here, Sattva means Buddhi or intellect of the mind. Purushaya, Purushayoho, the self, that individual Jivatman. Atyanta Sankirnayoho, completely different, all the way to the end. A Sankirnayoho, they are not mixed together. Sattva and Purushayoho. Pratyaya, that thought or cognition. Avisheshaha, without distinction of these both, that is the Purusha, the Jiva, and the Buddhi. Bhogaha, experience. Pararthatvat, service of the Purusha. Swartha, that is the self-interest or on its own. Sanyamat, Purusha Jnanam. Now, the intellect and the Purusha, the Atman or the self or the soul or the Jiva, are totally different. So, here it is the part of Purusha and Prakriti. Purusha is always indifferent from all the attributes of Prakriti. So, Buddhi or that Sattva part or that intellect part is the attribute of Prakriti, not Purusha. Purusha is different from all these attributes. They are totally different. The intellect existing for the sake of the Purusha, but Buddhi exists. Why? Prakriti exists. Why? Only for the Purusha, for him to experience. While the Purusha exists for its own sake. Purusha, that is the Atman or the soul, exist. Why exist? There is no reason. On its own, he exists. Not distinguishing this is the cause of all experiences. So if a yogi or a jiva or a sadhaka cannot distinguish between what is Purusha and Prakriti, and he mixes these both together, then it leads to the experiences. It leads to the bhoga or upabhoga. But by doing the sanyama on its distinction, that Purusha is different, Prakriti is different, by doing the sanyama on the distinction, knowledge of the Purusha is gained. Next sutra lists the benefits of Purusha Sakshatkara. See, in a very simple words, if we want to understand this sutra, we as a body-mind complex, when we experience this world around, what happens is we feel the body, the mind, the intellect, whatever experiences we go through, the feelings, the emotions, because they are right now completely mixed up with the Purusha. Our true self, the true nature is completely different or separate from all the things happening at the Prakriti level. Or in Bhagavad Gita, it is explained as Kshetra Kshetrajna. Kshetra is um, the attributes of Prakriti, but Kshetrajna is completely indifferent. He is like a witness. He is witnessing what the jiva is doing through his body, mind, intellect, everything. And because of that, because Purusha gets mixed up with the Prakriti, he starts experiencing all this stuff. Maybe, the success, failure, or sorrow, grief, happiness, different kinds of experiences he goes through. But the one who does Sanyama on what? Sanyama on this distinction that Kshetra and Kshetrajna, these are two different entities. Purusha and Prakriti, these are two different entities. So even right now, if I am experiencing the grief, the Purusha is, untouchable. He is not getting affected because of this grief which I am going through. So Sanyama on this thought of distinction of Purusha and Prakriti, if he does, the knowledge of the Purusha is gained. And that is Purusha Jnanam. Okay? And if he does so, what benefits comes his way is being explained in the next sutra. So, tat or tataha prati pratibhashravana tataf pratibhashravana. Wherever there is a visarga followed by pra, the visarga sound will become fa. Tataf pratibhashravana vedana आदर्श आस्वादवार्ता जायन्ते वेदना आदर्श आस्वाद वार्ता jayante. The one a yogi who does this Sanyama on the distinction of Purusha and Prakriti, because of that, tataha, hence, pratibha, spontaneous, illuminated, divine, intuitive, and extraordinary. Not the normal hearing, touch, or perception or taste. No, this is to the next level, the supreme, the divine kind of Shravana, means the divine hearing, which is also called as clairaudience. Vedana is not pain here, but it is the divine touch. Adarsha means seeing, divine seeing, clairvoyance. And Aswada, the divine taste. Varta is the divine smell. Jayante arises, are born. So from this knowledge, the distinction of Purusha and Prakriti, if he contemplates and meditates and does the Sanyama on this thought, what arises is the superphysical or supernatural or supreme kind of hearing. So he can hear any distinct sound. He can feel the distinct or divine touch, seeing, tasting, and smelling through spontaneous intuition. So these are kinds of package of siddhis he achieves through this Sanyama. Then te samadhau upasarga vyutthane siddhayaha te samadhau उपसर्गा व्युत्थाने सिद्धयः. So these samadhau, in samadhi, upasargaha. Here upasargaha means the obstacles. Vyutthane, in outward going or in worldly pursuits, siddhayaha, accomplishments or powers. These superphysical senses, like, getting these divine hearing, touch, smell, taste, these are obstacles to samadhi. And what is the highest samadhi? Nirbija samadhi or nirvikalpa samadhi or asampragnata samadhi. So these are the obstacles to samadhi, but are the siddhis, powers or accomplishments in the worldly pursuits. But these are kinds of accomplishments he is getting in the worldly pursuits. One may get influenced by these siddhis and one starts doing some show off or gains fame, gains name in the external world or in the dealing with the society around. But that sadhaka or that yogi must remember all these siddhis which are coming to him or her. They are obstacles on the path to nirbija samadhi. Hmm? Again, he continues with the further siddhis. बंधकारण शैथिल्यात् प्रचार, बंधकारण शैथिल्यात् प्रचार, संवेदनाच्च संवेदनाच्च चित्तस्य परशरीरावेशः, परशरीरावेशः. Here, bandha is bound, karana is the cause, shaithilya from loosening, prachara is the procedure or propagation, sanvedacha known from sensation, perception and feeling, chittasya para sharira aveshaha. So of the mind stuff, para is another and sharira is the body, avesha is the entering. So by the loosening of the cause, what is that cause of the bondage of mind to body? And by knowledge of the procedure of the mind stuff's functioning, entering another's body is accomplished. That is called as parakaya avesha or para sharira avesha. Okay. So by loosening of the cause of the bondage of mind to body, what the sadhaka is working on now, because of our own thoughts and desires, we are bound, we are limited. So he has to loosen up that and he has to go beyond the limitations of feelings, thoughts, whatever he goes through at mental level. And by knowledge of the procedure of the mind stuff's functioning. So how this mind stuff actually works, and if I work it to in or towards my favor, not against me. So in Bhagavad Gita also, Shri Krishna tells Arjuna, your mind can be your friend or can be your enemy. It's up to you how you're going to use this mind stuff for you. If you go through anger and greed and jealousy, then it becomes enemy of you. And then your consciousness will degrade. It will degrade, but it won't evolve. So the upward journey will never happen, but it always, there is a downfall. So a yogi must work on the limitation or bondage of the mind, and also he must use the mind stuff in his favor. And if he does work on this, what happens is entering another's body is accomplished. They come under parapsychology, and this is a kriya siddhi, that action he can do. He can enter another's body. That kind of a siddhi is accomplished by just focusing on or working on the mind stuff of his own. Now further on, Udana Jaya, Udana Jaya, Jalapanka, Jalapanka, Kantaka Dishwa, or Kantaka Adishu, Asanga, Utkrantischa, Utkrantischa. Now, there are Pancha Vayus or Pancha Pranas which are mentioned. Prana, Udana, Apana, Samana, and Vyana. So, if a yogi focuses on the upward moving prana, that is the Udana Vayu, Udana Jaya, from mastery, Jala Panka. What is Panka? Is the mud, Jala is water, Kantaka is the thorn. Adishu means all these things like water, mud, thorn. Asanga, without contacting these three, water, mud, and thorn, what he can do? Passing over or levitate, leaving the body. By mastery over the Udana nerve current or the Udana or upward vital force or air, one accomplishes this kind of a siddhi, levitation over water, mud, and thorns, etc., and can leave the body at will. To leave the body gracefully. So there are two kinds of siddhis he can achieve. Without touching water, mud, and thorn, he can walk over it without touching to these things. And also he can leave the body at its own will. These kinds of siddhis one achieves if he does Sanyama on Udana Vayu. Okay. And similarly, if a yogi does Sanyama on Samana Vayu, what happens? Samana Jaya Jwalanam. Samana, that is the nadi current of prana flowing in the navel region. So from chest up to your navel is the pranavayu, or from throat to the chest is pranavayu, and from chest to the navel is the samanavayu. Jayat, from mastery, jwalanam, radiance, fire, kind of thing he experiences. So by mastery over the samana nerve current, the equalizing samana, the vital force, comes radiance to surround the body, burning body to ashes. What happens is Manipura chakra or the Samana Vayu, it is related to our digestion, assimilation, and absorption. So it is said in our scriptures that there is a Jatharagni, that fire, that gastric fire keeps burning there to digest our food, to absorb the nutrients in the blood, and to convert it into energy. It needs some kind of fire within, and that is Jatharagni. Now, if a yogi meditates and does the Sanyama on this prana, this vital force, that is the Samana Vayu at Nabhi Chakra, what happens is a great kind of a energy he can produce, and because of that he can also burn his body to ashes. One reference comes in Mahabharata after the war between Kaurava and Pandava, when Dhritarashtra is now full of guilt and sorrow and much more pain. He was not expecting that. He was hoping to win the war, but in the war, all his sons die. And then he goes to the forest. And what Dhritarashtra does is does the Sanyama on the Samana Vayu, and he burns his body to ashes. That's how he leaves his body. Okay, so many references comes in Ramayana or Mahabharata, or many great saints and yogis, they have done this. So we have the proofs that these people have gained such kinds of vibhutis and siddhis or powers. Okay, now the next one. Shrotra akashayoho. Shrotra akashayoho. Sambandha. Sambandha. Sanyamata. Sanyamata. Divyam. Shrotram. Divyam Shrotram. Now here Shrotra is the ear or the hearing ability. Akashayoho, the space. Sambandha, the contact or the connection. So here yogi does the Sanyama on what? Now if we look at our ear and the structure of the ear, there is a what we can say, the parts or the various parts of the ear, and from what it gets the ability of hearing is the space around it. Now wherever there is a connection between the inner ear and the space, on that connection the yogi does the focus. Yogi does the Sanyama, so that from that Sanyama, what he achieves is Divyam, divine, heavenly, celestial hearing. So by Sanyama on the contact between the ear and space, supernormal hearing becomes possible. That we talked about the a clairaudience. He can hear the distant sounds. He can hear the very subtle sounds. The sounds below certain decibels, our physical ear cannot perceive. And the sounds at a very high frequency, our ears can burst. Means we will lose our hearing capacity if the sounds are above decibels. Both are not possible. The human ear is designed to hear the sounds at certain decibel sounds, correct? But such yogi who is doing Sanyama on that connection between that space and the ear, is able to hear any sound which is below and above decibels. That kind of siddhi he gains. And similarly, Kaya Akashayoho Sambandha Sanyamata Laghutula Samapattescha Akashagamanam. Again, Kaya Akashayoho Sambandha Sanyamata Laghutula Samapattescha Akashagamanam. Now the yogi who does the Sanyama on the connection or the contact between the body and the space. So from that Sanyama, what he can does is Laghu Tula. Here Laghu means very light. Tula is the cotton fiber. How the cotton fiber is light and it can just float in the space. Samapatte, here instead of Sanyama, he has used the word profound meditation. Samapatte, what he does? Akasha Gamanam. He can travel in the sky. So by Sanyama on the relationship or the contact between the body and the ether or the sky or the Akasha or the space, lightness of cotton fiber is attained and thus traveling through the ether becomes possible. We can have the references from our scriptures of Hanumanji and Narada Muni. Narada Muni can travel from one loka to other. How? He flies without any aeroplane. He can make his body such light like a cotton fiber. He floats easily. Hanumana from Ayodhya or from north of India, he traveled all the way to Sri Lanka. How? Not by any vehicle, but he flew, he traveled, he did the Akasha Gamanam. So these references still we get in our itihasas, from our history, from our Upanishads. So these are, one might say that, this is all bullshit. This cannot happen. This is not possible as we are going through these sutras. But we have references. And the best thing is you try it on your own. If you want to prove this wrong, you cannot. If you can do Sanyama, if you can do focus, Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi on these given objects, the Siddhis are bound to happen. You must achieve these Siddhis. But right now, people don't have time, don't have discipline, they don't do sadhana, so they cannot explore these things. But again, these kinds of siddhis, Patanjali Maharishi is again giving us the warning that these are the obstacles on the path of Nirbija Samadhi. See, to achieve that Kaivalya, to achieve the Nirbija Samadhi, one has to do Sanyama. There is no another way. This is the only way. To do the Sanyama is the only way to achieve a Sampradnyana Samadhi. And as one does this Sanyama, he is bound to get all these Siddhis. And hence, these are the part and parcel of the journey towards Samadhi. Then, Bahirakalpita, Bahirakalpita, Vrittir Mahavideha, Vrittir Mahavideha, Tat Prakasha Varna क्षयः tat prakasha varana kshayah. So bahihi, that is the outside the body. Akalpita, unimaginary. Vrittihi, existence of the mind. Mahavideha, great disembodied existence. Tataha, from that. Prakasha, here is the clarity. Avarana, the veil or the covering. Kshayaha, means gets reduced. By Sayama, on the thought waves unidentified by and external to the body. The thought waves unidentified by and external to the body, Mahavideha, or the great bodilessness, the veil over the light of the self is destroyed. So this is almost the Kaivalya Siddhi a yogi can achieve. So thought waves, vritti, uh, outside the body. Now here one has to understand that a yogi can take his mind out of his body. That is called as out of body experience. If you have attained a yoga class and if you have gone through the yoga nidra experience, many of the instructors or yoga teachers give this instruction that you imagine that you are coming out of your body, your own body. So you're coming out of your own body means what? You're taking your mind stuff, your thought, your vritti from your body and looking at your own body, which is lying in Shavasana. So to do this, what you have to do, you have to take your mind out of your body. Then only you can look at your own body, isn't it? So unimaginary, akalpita, existence of the mind. But those who are Mahavideha, Mahavidehas are whom? They who have disembodied existence, means they are not living in their physical body, but maybe in Karana Sharira or Sukshma Sharira. Such Mahavidehas, they gain the uh, siddhi or vibhuti of removing that avarana, that veil which is covering our true self. This is a bit really advanced kind of a all vibhutis are advanced, but compared to these, because this is a Kaivalya Siddhi, this is at a much advanced level. And that veil, that covering will slowly and gradually start reducing, kshaya, that will go away, and the light within is, uh, that is manifested. But for all of us, right now, there is a deep layer of covering, ignorance, this veil or covering of what? Avarana of what? The ignorance. Ignorance of what? That I am this body, I am this mind. But these Mahavidehas can take their mind out of their body and reduce or destroy the covering of ignorance, and hence the light of the self can be manifested. So this kind of a siddhi one gains by taking the mind out of body practice. And then Sthula Swarupa, Sukshma, Anvayarthavatva, Anvayarthavatva, Sanyamat, Bhutajayah. Sthula Swarupa, Sukshma, Anvayarthavatva, Sanyamat, Bhutajayah. Now, this is like we can say the ultimate kind of Sanyama you can do. And that is at very, 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 very detailed level. To do Sanyama on Udanavayu or Samanavayu, or doing Sanyama at the throat pit or the Nadi at the throat pit. One object and you do Sanyama on that. Quite simple. Means not for us, but the yogi who does it, can do Sanyama, Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi, Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi. All three together is called as Sanyama. Here, now it goes to much advanced level. Bhuta Jaya. What are the bhutas? Pancha Mahabhutas. He is talking about those 5 elements. Akasha, Jala, Agni, Vayu and Prithvi. These are the Pancha Mahabhutas. So these are the sthula, gross attributes. So Sanyama on these 5 elements. Swarupa. Now he is not stopping his Sanyama just on Prithvi or Jala Tattva or Agni Tattva or Akasha Tattva. No, he's taking his Sanyama on much deeper level to contemplate or to do the Sanyama on its essential nature, Swarupa. So Prithvi is hard. Waters, what is its essential nature? Is the binding nature. Fire is the heat. Wind is the carrying nature. And space is all pervasive nature. So that kind of a Swarupa, it is just mentioned in one word, but a yogi goes in much detail in his practice on its Swarupa. And then Sukshma. So what is Sukshma? Every Mahabhuta or these elements have the tan matra. So what is the quality of a space, or what possibility lies in the space is the sound. The shabda can manifest if there is the Panchamahabhuta of Akasha Tattva. Then only Shabda can manifest. From water, what can be possible? The touch. From fire, its form. From water, its taste. From Prithvi, its smell. So the Tanmatras and Panchamahabhutas, when they come together, it is called as Panchikarana. And when they combined with each other in different proportions, in different ratios, they become the building blocks of gross elements. For example, if we take earth, it has got smell as a tanmatra. So 50% of smell as tanmatra and all other together 50% in different proportions. So the form, the touch, the taste, they are combined in different proportions. But because 50% only smell, then Prithvi Tattva has got Gandha as its Tanmatra, because that is in more proportion compared to others. Okay. So this is how the sukshma level the yogi goes on contemplating on these tanmatras and on these panchamahabhutas, and then comes the advayartha tattva, anvaya and arthatvat. Anvaya here are the trigunas, sattva, rajas, tamas, underlying cause of all existence. And because of these gunas, these tanmatras have manifested. Because of these gunas, panchamahabhutas have manifested. And arthatva, why? What is the purpose of the operation of these gunas? Why they lose their balance? You know, it is always said at the Purusha and Prakriti level, or when there is only the Purusha, the uh, absolute truth is there, all the gunas are in a perfect equilibrium, in perfect balance. But then what happens? And these three gunas become imbalance, and because of their imbalance, all the attributes starts the evolutes of Prakriti, they starts manifesting because of this imbalance in the gunas, only for the purpose of bhoga apavarga. Bhoga means I want to experience and I want to liberate. Only for these two reasons, this imbalance occurs at trigunas. Sayama. So, and this is Bhuta Jaya. So, a yogi gains the complete mastery over these bhutas or the five elements, its tanmatras, the trigunas, by contemplating on all these levels. Okay, so by Sanyama on the gross, the subtle elements, their essential nature, their correlations and purpose, mastery over them is gained. And the one who achieves this kind of Bhuta Jaya can do anything. You know, from the air, he can create a stone. He can convert that stone into gold. Whatever he wants, he can do this. Why? Because he has gained mastery over Panchamahabhutas. Because everything what we see and experience, touch and feel is made up of Panchamahabhutas. There is a Akasha Tattva, there is a Jala Tattva, there is a Agni Tattva. Everything is only and only out of these five elements. You cannot see anything on this earth beyond these five elements. And the one who has complete mastery over these five elements, he can do anything. He can create a person, correct? Because he has gained mastery over all its essential nature and its correlation and its purpose and everything. So that this is at next level of Vibhuti it is. And in today's session, this is the last sutra we are exploring. It talks about the Ashtasiddhis. You know, generally what we hear, Anima, Garima, Lagima, Mahima. So, Tataha Animadi Pradurbhavaha Kaya Sampata Tat Dharamana Tataha Animadi Pradurbhavaha Kaya Sampata Tad Dharamana. So from that, from gaining mastery over these Panchamahabhutas, Anima, Adi. So the power of becoming very tiny, atomic size, miniature, Anima, Adi. Adi means all the Ashtasiddhis which are there. They all are included. Pradur, they appear, they manifest. Kaya Sampata. Sorry, Pradur Bhavaha, they are occurring state of Pradur means appearing, manifesting. Kaya, body. Sampat, wealth, perfection. Their characteristics or attributes. Dharma, anabhighatah, unaffected or non-resistance. So from that comes attainment of three things. What are the three benefits? So the yogi gains all the Ashtasiddhis, Anima, Garima, Lagima, and so on. Then he gains the bodily perfection, the wealth of the body, and the non-obstruction of bodily functions by the influence of the elements. See, because of these five elements, they exist in our body as well. Jala Tattva is there, Agni Tattva is there, Akasha Tattva is there, everything is in our body. Because of the imbalance of trigunas, the three doshas also happen in the body. Kapha, Vata, Pitta. Correct? But the one who has gained mastery over everything, he will never experience any kind of disease, any kind of mental or physical disorder. So these kinds of three benefits he achieves from doing Sanyama or gaining Bhuta Jaya. So just in order of interest, these are the Ashtasiddhis. Anima is becoming very small. Mahima is becoming big or heavy. Laghima is the lightness. Prapti, touching the moon by the finger so he can extend his arm up to the moon and he can touch the finger, touch the moon. Then Prakamya does what one desires to do, whatever he wishes, whatever he desires, he can do it. Vashitvam is ability to keep all entities under one control. Vasha, to do vashitvam is, you can even influence a person's power of thinking or power of action. You do the vashikarana. This is kind of a siddhi one does to control other entities, a person, or object, anything. Ishitvam is ability to decide the birth, the death, the state of living entities. Ishitvam is he, if one person is dead, he can even make him alive. Okay, or he can totally change the what we call it as constitution of any object or a person. He can convert the ocean into a complete dry land. Anything he can do. Here, Garima is not mentioned, but instead of that, some other siddhi is mentioned. Kama Vasayitvam. Okay, that is ability to change anything to anything, poison to nectar. So this is just the example. So these are the Ashta Siddhis a yogi gains by doing Bhuta Jaya. Because after these Panchama Bhutas, there exists nothing. That is the ultimate. So up to this, we have covered in today's session. The sutras are a bit complex in chanting perspective as well, and by understanding its meaning as well. So you can keep going through these, sessions again and again, or slides again and again, and get used to chanting these sutras more often. Okay, so any question in today's session? Else we'll stop here. So we'll now meet next month. That is on 8th of November, the second Saturday, 8th of November, exploring the further sutras. So this is what Vibhuti Pada we are exploring, and the last Pada will be the Kaivalya Pada. Okay, so let's end with the Shanti Mantra. Adopt Chin Mudra, close your eyes. Idam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. All right. So thank you so much, and I will see you next month. Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you so much, Katki.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.